everybody who's seeing this video. My name is Joel Leyton, and I am with J. Tyler, however you want to go ahead and
Tyler's okay.
okay, and call it. And he's from TruFit Tyler. And I am we're doing this Skype chat today because we're talking about each of our transformations. I know that some of you are probably don't know exactly what steps to take after losing so much weight. I'm in that process right now, and I want to be able to learn from experts like Tyler and kind of get their input and what it is that he's doing to maintain himself. And he'll talk about his transformation and what he did, and what he's doing to maintain, himself. What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make at the gym?
Starting, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing I talk to people, especially when they're just getting started, is setting unrealistic goals. Okay. When people initially start out, they come in, they're like, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. For some people, can you do that? Absolutely. Would I ever recommend that? Absolutely not. Would I ever say that those results will be maintainable if you achieve them? Most likely not, because you're doing them a little too drastic, depending on the body type. And so forth. So the first thing I would say is, would set unrealistic goals. Okay, that's setting you up to be discouraged when you don't achieve those kind of things.
Yeah.
Second thing I would say is being shy or afraid to ask questions. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm in a different type of fitness facility where we're a very small group, more like group class, private training fitness facilities that we open. But even when I used to run regular big chain gyms, there are tons of fitness professionals in there that are willing to give advice that people just never ask. You know what I mean? So if you don't know how to use the machine, don't just stay away from that machine. Ask for someone to help you use that machine. If you see someone like you, and the internet's an awesome thing, and social media is an awesome thing. So someone like yourself, if I were to see you, Joel, and I would see you've lost 185 pounds at this point, I would reach out to you. Facebook, it's pretty easy to message someone and ask them questions, or myself, like people ask me questions, I'm there kind of thing. So the second thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask questions. You know what I mean? Okay. Unfortunately, the thing that we all have to go on this day in society is that fitness has become a big business. So people are going off these infomercials and everything like that, where this pill will help you achieve this goals, or this Brazilian butt lift workout will get you your goals, or whatever it may be. That you just we become believers in that sense, where it might not necessarily be the case in what we actually need to do for our goals. So that would be the main two: setting unrealistic goals and being afraid to ask questions.
Awesome. I think that's great. I know that when I reconnected again with Andrew, he was working at the local YMCA. Okay. And we sat down and we kind of chatted. And back then, I was bigger, and he was just like, I don't know if he was kind of like overwhelmed because it had been a while, and I gained so much weight in the time span that we kind of disconnected. And but he remembered who I was and everything. But yeah, you're right. I think, and I know that for me, it's always kind of been like and I think it's because I guess people who are kind of in the transition that I am, we find ourselves ashamed. I guess that would be kind of like not the right word, but for most people, it's kind of like ashamed because they don't know. They would see somebody like you, and it, like somebody like me. Let's put ourselves in this whole example, and I would come up to you. I'm thinking, you're so far ahead of me that maybe you wouldn't know what exactly to tell me what to do. That's what's going on in my head. Okay. But then you would know, because I think it's something that you guys find kind of awesome to go ahead and be able to sculpture a body, and be able to go ahead and put together, whatever fitness plan for that type of person, the type of body or whatever. But yeah, that's right. I mean, I know that I've gone through putting unrealistic goals. I mean, I know that when I went and I signed up with coaching and all that stuff, I put like this goal. I think it was like 50 pounds in 3 months, but I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. And that's kind of like what stopped me from even coming back and keeping up with everything that we had already written on paper, because it's easy to just go up to somebody, go in the office, fill out a plan, put your goals and everything like that. But then if you're not keeping up with it,
right,
there's something wrong in that.
Right. I think you touched on definitely a good subject when it comes to the point where it's pretty common for me to see individuals when they come in and they say, I want results. They even come into the sense of buying training packages that cost a lot of money. I mean, they put a lot of dollars on the line. And then we become our own worst enemy, where maybe we have a couple good days on, and then we have one day off, and now we failed that one time, so now we're done. It's 100% on or 100% off. So with that being said, people need to mentally be ready for the results, in a sense that people need to mentally commit that, yeah, this isn't going to be easy. It's going to take a while, and I'm going to do it. Rather than, oh, I'll try this. People come in the mentality with me and my fitness programs a lot of times where, hey, I'll give it a try. It's like, no, realistically, you need to come in, you sign up, be ready to do. You know what I mean? Be ready to get the job done, commit to something, commit to a goal. You know what I mean? Value yourself enough to not accept failure. Rather than the sense, oh, I tried, it didn't work, like a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So I think that mentality you said, like you weren't ready, is something that you touched on as well,
Yeah, definitely. The next one, I can speak in like, because I was part of it, and I worked a lot in a lot of call centers, and you're sitting down 8 hours, and not only are you getting stressed out by the customers on the phone, but I tended to go ahead and on my break, I would go down to a convenience store and buy snacks and just snack on it. I'd be so stressed out, So I don't know if you've ever have come across, I don't know if you work always standing up, or you're always at a desk for a certain period of time, or have before. Right. But what is some ways that you would probably tell somebody that they could kind of burn some extra calories?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing, for me personally, when I used to be overweight, like I grew up, obviously, for those who are watching, I grew up pretty overweight, terrible eating habits. And that would be the first thing that I would see and I would kind of copycat and do is when you're stressed out and eat, that's what I do. I still struggle with it sometimes, It's a way of coping, and I don't know necessarily how deep you go into mentality with it, but that is one problem that we got to solve. And the second one is being sedentary. Okay, so touching on the first one, this stress kind of thing is realistically the first thing I did to kind of conquer this, and it kind of takes a while for your body to create change. There's a lot of different like hormonal and chemical imbalances in your body when you're used to taking in a lot of sugar and so forth, that you actually have to almost like undiagnose yourself from being an addict in a sense. When you eat a lot of sugars, your body craves sugars and that types of stuff. So you got to keep that in mind, that your body is going to crave those types of things when you try to get off them. Another thing is right when I go and I'm stressed out and I'm about to go make a decision that I know I regret, I immediately start telling myself, hey, I'm stressed out now, but I need to tell myself immediately how terrible I'm going to feel after I do this thing, right? So now you get the stress of whatever was bothering you before, and now you just ate terrible. So now you feel terrible about yourself and your progress too. So it's like that's immediately what I'm telling myself before I go grab a bunch of Pop-Tarts or something like that. I'm saying, hey, like, if I'm stressed out right now, I'm this uncomfortable, I'm this upset right now, and I'm reaching for this, imagine how tearful I'm going to feel afterwards. And it always happens. We're all guilty. The sedentary thing, for if you're sitting down in a call center or whatever, that's a big problem. People are sedentary these days. I honestly, on your breaks, I would set goals, and depending on your fitness level and so forth, I would say most of the time you get a certain number of breaks, or you get lunch and whatnot too. You set yourself a workload. It's no longer like, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get moving on my break. No, it's like, I have to get this done at my break. So it's like maybe you set some like 15 body squats, 10 push-ups, and then jog around the building real quick. You might be the silly person at work where people are looking at you like you're silly, but I've seen multiple people that I work with we set these little goals on the work periods and so forth, and they come back and all of a sudden they're 50 pounds lighter and everybody's doing it with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had one client of mine, her name was Melissa, she worked in the factory, and she would do things on her lunch break, and it'd be like, oh, the people would head out, grab some fast food on the lunch break, and she'd be running around laps around the factory that she stood around in all day. And then before you know it, now she's got probably 10, 15 people that do it with her. So yeah, you gotta understand, if you're gonna be doing this in body squats in your cubicle, whatever it is, there will be a little bit of ridicule and people looking at you. But ultimately, you shouldn't care what they care, and honestly, you should care about yourself enough to get healthy. So those would be the 2 points I would touch on what you were saying for sure.
That's great. I mean, I think I probably tried it a couple of times when I was working 2 years ago, and I felt better. I think the day passed so much faster than not doing anything at all, because you have so much energy and you give it everything to what your job is, asking for, whatever it may is. In my case, it was a call center, and I noticed that I would get stressed out for nothing. I mean, it was just simple little things that that comes with the job and everything. So definitely, that's one thing that I've learned to go ahead and do is control my stress.
Right. And something I would mention too, and this is me, I mean, maybe it's just my personality type, but I'm either 100% on or 100% off. Yeah. There's no medium for me, which is kind of, I don't recommend that. I find a nice medium line that's easier maintainable for a lot of people. But one thing that I found personally that helps me when I'm like trying to lose weight and stay in shape and so forth is I always start my day off with exercise. So I have to wake up, and it's hard for people that have terrible sleeping habits as well. I give myself a half an hour to work out planned right when I wake up before I do anything else. So a lot of times it takes me waking up at 4:30 some days to get a half an hour in before I start my day. But just starting off, it's great for metabolism and so many different side effects to your body. But B, mentality, I know I just woke up that early to get my exercise in. And when I go to reach for this snack, whatever, it's like, no, I already started my day off that way, so I'm about to ruin it. If, for instance, if I forget this, and this still happens, if I forget my workout, or maybe I just hit the snooze button a little too long, and let's say I stop at a gas station on the way and I grab something that wasn't clean or wasn't good for me, automatically I'm like, oh, the day's already messed up. Let's start tomorrow, or something like that. Or tomorrow hits again, and let's wait until Monday to start over. I mean, we're all guilty. I hear from everybody all the time. So another point I would say is make sure you start your morning off with exercise, and start your morning with a healthy meal or something, so you're setting the pace for the rest of the day at that point too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Picking up into what we were talking about, putting in what you recommended, putting exercise first thing in the morning. What if somebody who's not like a morning person goes ahead and puts out working out until later at night? How would you recommend somebody putting their workout in later than what you kind of recommend, which is doing it first thing in the morning? Like, what would you kind of recommend, and how, like, what could they do,
Right, yeah, no problem. The biggest thing I'm pointing out at first is, like, there are so many health benefits to doing it first thing in the morning. Okay, and I will tell you right now, I am the worst morning person there is. It took me a long time to develop that habit, to wake up and do it first thing in the morning, especially now that my schedule's getting so crazy. I have to wake up earlier every day. But with that being said, I'm all into making small changes. So for some people, that might be a huge change and a huge adjustment for them if they're just getting started to work out. So like, going back on point, if you think that's completely unrealistic for you to wake up every morning, you're probably going to set yourself up for discouragement. That's going to get you off track. So if you are going to be working out in the evening, the first thing I would say is you have to make it part of your workday. With that being said, what I'm saying is you pack your gym clothes, and on your way home from work, if you're working midday, obviously, and you're coming home in the evening, that you have your clothes and you go to your gym, or you go to wherever you're going to be doing your fitness activity on the way home. Okay, the first thing that people are going to have a problem with is they get home, they sit around for a second, they're like, I'm going to rest for a second, then grab myself and go to the gym. It's not going to happen. Okay, so you have to set up your routine. It has to make it part of your workday, and you have to avoid the sedentary sit at home. That would be something, just to avoid you going to the gym. Another thing that I'm going to tell a lot of people to do, especially in this day and age with technology and whatnot, and always having phones on us, is if you get to the gym, put your phone on airplane mode, especially if you're listening to music on it. Unless you're using the internet and whatnot, figure out a different way. But the first thing that used to be a problem with me is I get to the gym and whoever would be getting a hold of me, and also my workout would be cut in half because I have to get out of there and get somewhere else or something like that too. So airplane mode is my best friend. And not to mention mentality-wise, you're going to get in there. It's your one time of the day where it can just be all you for some people. You know what I mean? You go in there, work, clear your head, and so forth. So those would be the first two tips I'd say. You know, airplane mode's your best friend in the gym, and then definitely make it part of your work day on the way home. You know, do not go home first because a lot of people don't make it there.
Yeah, that's right. That's really, and I know that right now that that fall's kicking in, like daylight ends earlier now. You know, so you're kind of like, man, you know, it's already nighttime. It's dark. I don't want to. You know, just you pass the gym and it's, you know, it's everybody's in there or whatever, but it's dark and you're just like, man, you know, I want to go home and enjoy, you know, I don't know, a nice movie or anything, you know.
Right.
Now, you in the beginning you touched about working out in the morning, or even now that we mentioned working out kind of after work. But what are the best foods that you would recommend to eat? You know, for that. Like what's like a typical meal that you would have before a workout, or even maybe after a workout?
It's a hit or miss. Okay, so I want to explain something that's been huge for me, and it's called doing fasted cardio, which I'm sure you've heard of before. And what fasted cardio is, it means right when you wake up, first thing in the morning, you do some kind of physical activity. Okay, when you do fasted cardio in the morning, I never recommend it being more than 30 minutes. Okay. Because then it gets a little too much in your body, and then also, not to mention, it can be muscle wasting and so forth. But the thing about fasted cardio can be huge for people, especially when they're getting started with weight loss, is when you go to the gym at night, you have already converted your body to running on glucose and so forth and carbs. That it takes your body a good 45 minutes to an hour until your body converts from using those carbs as a fuel source to fat. Okay, but if first thing in the morning you've been sleeping, your body has used up all that energy sources, it's converted to burning fat. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, you don't have that transition time where it takes you so long to actually start burning fat. You wake up immediately, that whole 30 minutes is fat burning. Okay, but if you're just getting started, a lot of times people get lightheaded, they get nauseous, they have a lot of side effects from low blood sugar and stuff like that where they can't handle fasted cardio. So it's a give or take. When I work out first thing in the morning, it's not a grueling workout most of the time, and I do it on an empty stomach. I drink some black coffee, and I do hit my workout first thing in the morning. In the evening, I typically obviously like to get a meal an hour to 45 minutes before my workout. My body's really hypersensitive to carbs, which in the sense that it doesn't matter what kind of carbs I eat. If I eat a pretty big portion, I get sleepy, drowsy, and so forth before my workout. So a lot of times I just taking some greens as protein. A lot of people definitely do recommend taking in a carb source before workout for those same things like blood sugar and so forth, so you're not getting lightheaded, you're not getting tired and stuff like that in the gym. You have to feel your body type. So if you notice that you're eating carbs, whether it be clean, whether it's sweet potatoes, brown rice, whatever it may be, and you notice that you're getting tired beforehand, I would say cut that out, because obviously it's setting your pace up for your workout to be slow and tired. Definitely post-workout, I always get a protein source in. Definitely 45 minutes before 45 minutes after my workout, I always get a whey shake in. Gnarly whey shake is what I take. It's all natural. There's no artificial sweeteners. It's grass-fed, cows from New Zealand, where the whey comes from, and so forth. So I make sure that all my supplements I take are extremely clean, because I don't take very many at all. And then I'll have a meal about 45 minutes after that. That meal is going to consist of a carb, a protein, and usually a green as well.
All right, that sounds good. I did see that. I did see that gnarly, and it looked tasty.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And realistically, I got to the point where, like I said, I'm a meathead in recovery. So I went from being that guy that went and bought everything at GNC, that whatever's going to help me, whatever pill, whatever supplement, and stuff like that. And then I actually got educated on what these things are doing to my body and how crazy it is that they can put supplements on the shelf without being FDA approved and so forth. Yeah. So with that being said, I actually took a good 6 to 8 months off of all supplements in general, and then I really started doing some research. And then Gnarly came up, and they're all natural. You know what I mean? They get their whey from grass-fed cows in New Zealand, so you know they're not getting all the hormones and everything like that, like our cattle does in the U.S. Yeah. And then there's no artificial sweeteners in them as well. So I started taking them. I've had awesome progress with them. I don't get bloated and so forth because it's awesome quality protein and stuff like that. So happens that I finally I built a relationship with them, and I'm actually a sponsored athlete now. So, not to put a Q in, but if you went on their website, go gnarly.com and use TruFit as a coupon code, it will save you a bunch off your order as well if you want to try that out. But it's awesome. It tastes great for not having any artificial sweeteners. It's kind of surprising, but as far as recovery goes and making sure I get the most out of my workout, I definitely take that in post-workout for sure.
Cool. Thanks. So yeah, guys, I will put that across the screen and on the description below. That way you guys can go ahead and use that promo code you said, right?
Yep.
Injury. It's like, I guess the word is inevitable, right? It's it's something that can happen. It happened to a friend of mine. Let's say, for instance, what is something that if people have pain on an injured knee or back or whatever, what's something that you I was always recommend, especially because more heavier people, there's more weight on the joints, and I think it's harder, right? I was always recommended to kind of do pool exercise, and that's what I kind of did because there wasn't so much pressure, on the joints and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's anything else that you would kind of recommend that would be easy and not too painful for somebody like that.
Right. So I've worked with plenty of extremely obese clients and so forth, to where they can't do squats, they can't do push-ups and stuff like that. There's no way their body's going to allow them to do that. So the first thing that I always do with them is I will tell everybody, and I'll continue to say it, nutrition is 70, I would almost say 80% of your results. Okay, so realistically, you want to lose weight, you want to get in shape. You need to lose about 100 pounds to even do some movements that you'd like to do. Get your diet in check and make that the first priority. Okay, I've had clients of mine not have any exercise before, just come to me for a little nutritional guidance. Didn't even have to change their daily activities or anything and be able to lose 10 pounds a week if you're that obese. Also, people really underestimate little things like walking. You know what I mean? For someone that is obese, a walk can be very taxing on your body and so forth. And with that being said, I don't mean for you to tell yourself, hey, today I'm going to walk 5 miles. Don't start that way. Don't start unrealistic goals. Make small changes, and especially when you're that obese, it makes really significant results. I would say, hey, today I'm going to make a lap around the block. If that's, I would take a day off and then see how your body reacts to it. A lot of times when you're that obese, your body won't necessarily even tell you why you're doing it. Hey, this is really bad. Hey, this is really bad. And the next day you're better and everything's inflamed in your joints and so forth. So I would say start with a lap around the block. You feel okay a couple days later? Then let's do 2 laps around the block. Small little significant changes can make huge results, especially if you're obese. I would say just get really good at walking at first. Then there's little things like get ups and sit downs. So when you're obese, you struggle just getting up out of the chair and then getting back down. Understand that's the same as long as your mechanics still work the same. And when you stand up, you push your heels into the ground and stand up. It's the same mechanics as a squat. So a lot of times when I have people come to me, I legitimately have them do get ups and then sit downs. Okay, maybe today you start with 5 to 10 of those. Wait a day, see how your body reacts, and then start again. I've worked with people before where they just go crazy, and it's awesome because a lot of people want results, and a lot of people hit it really hard at first and want to do the hardcore stuff. And then the next day, they're bedridden, everything's inflamed, they can't move for 3 days, their body just goes into shock, and then they just get put off, like you said, an injury puts them off, now they don't get results for a while. So I would say start gradual, almost make a map out, make out a plan. Today I'm going to start with 1 lap around the block, or today I'm going to do 5 get-ups and sit-downs, little things like that, and progress them up rather than just saying, hey, my diet's on check, I'm going to do a mile today. You've never done a quarter mile before. A mile is going to be pretty taxing on your body. So small, significant changes. If your nutrition's on point, you're going to lose weight anyway. So
yeah, that's a good way to put that. Okay, there's a lot of and people should know this, especially when they're obese, is that once you start doing all these exercise routines and everything, you will get extra skin. Will be loose skin and everything like that. And I think that's one of the things that I don't know if many people out there or even people that have kind of went through that whole worry that if they start doing exercise and stuff like that, you know, it's going to happen, you know.
Right.
So what's kind of like, what would you recommend for something like that?
Right.
You know?
So basically, especially if you're obese, I mean, if you have hundreds of pounds to lose, yeah, it's inevitable. You're gonna have loose skin. Okay. It takes a while, even for me. If I bulk up during the winter and then I lose a bunch of weight afterwards, it takes a while for my skin to adjust, get tightened back up, and get used to being lean again. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you got hundreds of pounds. Yeah, more than likely you will have a skin issue. And when people get upset about skin issues, and they're like, man, I don't like having this loose skin and mentality about the cosmetic way that it looks. It's a give or take. Would you rather let yourself know, hey, I'm going to be healthy and I have a little bit of skin, but I still have this big belly, or would you rather be leaner and have a little loose skin? And a lot of times, I have had clients in the past, they have to get some surgery for skin removal and stuff like that, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a process or anything like that. But more than anything, I think it's cool because a lot of people, when they start a fitness program and so forth, their first priority isn't necessarily to get healthy. And that's where it should be, but obviously motivating, a lot of times we see something in the magazine, we want to look like this, or we want to look better, or whatever it may be. That's their motivation. Realistically, we need to shift our mindset, and I talk to people a lot. I'm not in the business to get people skinny, I'm in the business to get people healthy. Yeah. So at that point, yeah, you got some loose skin, but at least your body's more healthier, you know? But with that being said, weight training will help tighten skin back up. A lot of people just get on the treadmill and they just do cardio their whole life. And they do have loose skin problems and stuff like that. It's proven that if you do some weight training, so whether it be a little light weights or whatever it may be, it will help tighten the skin up. Mm-hmm. If you have hundreds of pounds to lose, still do weight training. It's going to make you stronger and healthier. It's going to help your skin a little bit better, but more than likely, yeah, you'll still have a skin issue, but at least you won't have the health issues, the heart issues, everything else that comes along with it. So
yeah, definitely. Well, we've covered, I guess, all the questions that I had. Is there anything like you would like to kind of like last words or anything like that to kind of inspire, motivate? You know, I know it's even been hard for me, but I've kept myself consistent from the beginning. I knew that it was not going to be easy. I knew that I had to put 100% me in this whole process, and I still struggle because I still kind of, like you said, put unrealistic goals, and I think that's the thing that kind of, you know, distracts, you know, in this whole process, that you think, oh, okay, you know, like I mean, I can see like your body type, and I'm like, man, I can, you know, kind of be that built and, you know, that healthy at this time, but I'm still not there, you know, and right. It's not gonna happen overnight, right? You know?
So let me ask you, Joel, you're super inspiring. You've lost 185 pounds. I watched your stuff. I've seen your photos and everything. You inspire me. How long has it taken you to do that? How long have you started fitness training?
Well, I started a diet from a nutritionist back in September of 2012. So it's 2 years. 2 years ago. Right. That I put 100% in, and right. But then I was inspired by Joe Cross to start juicing. And so I started juicing, and then also followed along the nutrition diet that I got from the nutritionist, and I kind of blended that in, and I've actually have lost more weight doing that since March.
Yeah. So this, you said since September 2012. Yeah. So about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, you've lost 185 pounds in 2 years. That's remarkable. Okay, and I'm sure there's been some downs along the way. I mean, you said you put 100% into it. I'm sure there's been some times where you've been off your A game. Me personally, my fitness journey started back in I want to say 2006 is when I lost my weight for the first time. I had about 60 pounds to lose. I lost it. That's something I definitely want to mention is I lost it in 3 months. Okay. Some people look at me like, that's crazy. That's way too much to lose. And they're absolutely right in my case. That's all I had to lose. I did it too drastic. And then a year or so later, my metabolism was so messed up from it that I gained it all back, and I had to learn how to do it the right way, take it off again, and make it so now it's easily maintainable. So with that being said, what I say is I started back in 2008. So people, if they were to look at me at this point, which I'm nothing to role model yourself off of, but if that were the case, I've been doing this for how many years now? You know what I mean? They look at your case, you've been doing this 2 years, 185 pounds. That's inspiring. But what people need to do is understand that, like, fitness is a journey, and you're gonna ideally be doing this for the rest of your life because you're starting to make a change in your life, and you want to be healthy for the rest.
Yeah.
So with that said, people, when you get started, small steps. You know what I mean? You'll never get anywhere that you want to be if you don't take the first step. So the first step I would recommend is, hey, get a hold of someone that you know has had success in the past. Okay, so whether it be Joel or myself, get a hold of us, ask questions, or someone else in your area community that you know has made success. I feel more than likely they'll be great to answer some questions and give you a little bit of motivation and so forth. The next thing I would do is, I always say, a goal is just a dream until you get public with it. Okay, so from that being said, I want you to use the social media that everybody gripes on and go ahead and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm excited. Hold me accountable. Post up a status, as cheesy as it is, and post it up there so you have people that know you're doing it. Okay, maybe they're not even paying attention to you, but for me personally, if I post something up, a goal, I have that in the back of my head. Hey, I said something. People heard me. I got to accomplish that now. Yeah. And that helps with accountability as well. A lot of people look at personal trainers and they say, hey, they're pricey and stuff like that. Yeah, they can be, but I want people to take in consideration how much money they spend on a designer handbag, or how much money they spend on
food.
Really, not to mention food. Like, when I used to be heavier, I spent way more money on food than I do now. It's like that, you know what I mean? So your health is worth it. Your longevity in your life is worth it. Not to mention how much better your quality of life will be when you get healthy as well. So with that being said, I mean, I'm all here. So if you put my info up there, like, I'm all here for questions or any kind of motivation I can do. I do offer online training as well that gets pretty affordable. So if anybody wants to get set up with nutrition plans or anything like that, I'm here. This isn't a sales pitch more than anything. I would love to be a part of people's success as well. Joel, you've had enough success, and you've had enough obviously success with the past couple weeks. So I'm sure you're here. You've made these awesome videos. If people want to message you and have questions as well. So I would just say, hey, first thing I would do is ask some questions. Second thing I would do is get accountable. You know what I mean? Post something up online. And the third thing I would do is just commit to doing it. You know what I mean? Don't accept no as an answer. Don't accept failure. Yes, sometimes you're going to slip up. Don't use that slip up as a way to fall off the bandwagon. You know what I mean? Just get back up there and start trying again. Okay? This is a journey. It's not going to be a sprint. You know, it's a marathon kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I mean, I know you're busy. You're a busy person, and I mean, it's good to be busy because, you know, you're helping people out, you know, and you know, this video is to go ahead and motivate you and inspire everybody who's seeing this video, you know, and like Tyler has said, you know, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact either one of us. I mean, if you feel that you're probably already ready to go ahead and start some type of fitness plan, you know, you can probably do it with somebody who's more, you know, expert at it, which is Tyler right now at this moment. Or if you're not even close, you know, and you right now you're just wanting to go ahead and lose weight, you know, you can contact me, either or. So I mean, it's all about helping you, and it's all about, you know, motivating you to become a better person, a better version of yourself, and to be healthy. I mean, I think that's where it all, you know, kind of comes down to. You know, I want to be healthy the rest of my life, and I want to be able to, you know, whenever I have a family, to also input that lifestyle in them, so they won't have the type of problems that I had growing up, you know, and it will just be easier for them, you know. So thank you so much, man, and I'll be talking to you, contacting you about anything else. But
yeah,
thanks
absolutely.
so much. Thanks so much.
Man.
Have a good one.
You too, bro.